What's going on, everybody? It's your host of Sports Moose. It's NFL Week 2. You know what that means? Another episode of $10 Sports, risky business coming your way. Things not going great last week. We'll talk about all that, but we're going to bounce back. We got some picks for you. Your $10 parlay of the week, Moose's Monster Teaser, all coming at you right after we hit that intro. Welcome back to $10 Sports. It's your host of Sports Moose here with $10 Sports, Risky Business, NFL Week 2 edition. And I know what you're thinking. Moose, you wore the Bucko Bruce shirt last week. Totally understand. Promise you I have more shirts. Just comfy. In the rotation. Can't rip a guy for going of comfort. And to be honest with you, I got to give another chance. We're going to go through last week's picks. Things did not go well for NFL Week 1, as they usually don't for a lot of betting pundits out there, especially amateurs like me. Maybe amateurs like you didn't have a great week. Drop down in the comments below. How did you do in NFL Week 1? It's just always a crapshoot, right? So lots to talk about today. Another great slate of games for NFL Week 2. We have coming up the Redskins. Oh, I can't say that anymore. The Washington Football Team and your New York Football Giants. Interesting game. I think the spread's 4.5. Washington Football Team letting us down. I bought in when they were favorites. Well, actually, I bought in when they were underdogs by +1. They ended up being favorites. Letting us down last week, and that's okay. Chargers, a lot of people, kind of a sexy pick, thinking the Chargers could win the AFC West. I don't know about that, but we'll wait and see on the Chargers when they connect with the Chiefs later on this year. So we'll talk about our results, and of course we have your Week 2 picks, as well as a $10 parlay and Moose's Monster Teaser. We're so close to hitting it last week. Those damn Green Bay Packers costing us the teaser. I think we got a good one. Can't lose teaser. I'm excited for it. As a reminder, make sure you're hitting the like, subscribe button. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button on Facebook. And let's get those numbers up. Gotta get those numbers up. I think we're up to over 100 on Facebook. I'd love to get over 100 on YouTube so we can put our custom URL. That's a big accomplishment in the YouTube world, getting that custom URL. As we get ready for Week 2. And of course, don't forget, socials right down below to my right. Follow us on Twitter, of course on Facebook, at the Sports Moose. I think Twitter's at the Sports Moose Show. And on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch when we're getting ready to do some live streams at the Sports Moose. Alrighty then. Let's hop over to the topic cam. Week 2 slate. Some interesting games we want to talk about. Starting off, I think, with a Thursday night football game. I mean, I think a lot was expected of the football team defense. Of course, Week 1 coming up a little flat against the Chargers. I think it's a Chargers team that is going to surprise a lot of people this season. And those Giants that looked at times great against the Broncos, but most of the game in Daniel Jones, once again, those turnovers really coming to bite him in the ass. No getting around it. 30 fumbles, I think, was the number that was thrown around. Over 30 fumbles in two seasons in one game now for Daniel Jones. Lots of turnovers. Danny turnovers. And you got to take the football team here. I think this is Washington's defense kind of getting me back on track, getting a couple sacks, maybe a turnover or two on Daniel Jones. 4.5 is a solid spread. I think it's a touchdown game here. Gotta take the football team here. Let's go through a couple interesting ones. I think Bears Bengals has the potential to be pretty telling, at least, right? On one side, you have the former Bengals quarterback maybe getting some revenge, and of course, Justin Fields waiting in the wings for the Bears. Joe Burrow looked good last week. I don't think the Bengals won, right? Oh, they did win in overtime. Yeah, forgive me. Beating the Vikings, that was huge. Joe Burrow looking good. I'm really excited about that game. I like the spread here right now at -2.5 in favor of the Bears. This could be a Bengals plus 2.5 here, especially if you don't get Justin Fields into the action. If Nagy is truly committed to having the experience with Andy Dalton until it's truly time to turn it over to Justin Fields. This is a Bengals plus 2.5 pick here. I don't know if I have if I have that on my official picks or not, but I have a bonus pick. Bengals plus 2.5. I'm liking. Browns Texans. What a surprise by those Texans, right? Jacksonville probably favored in a game for the first time in like 3 seasons. I stupidly hopping on that bandwagon. And Texans really taking them to task. Trevor Lawrence looking pretty rough. Not ready to use the bust word yet, but not looking great. And week 1 overreactions take there if we're already calling him a bust. It looks good at times. I mean, Urban Meyer, you can't get behind Urban Meyer, right? So, a couple other interesting afternoon games. Patriots, Jets, Bills, Dolphins. We got some AFC East action going. Patriots favored 5.5 over the Jets. Home game for the Jets, of course. Could be a sneaky. This could be, for me, this is an easy pick because Bill Belichick's history against rookie quarterbacks. I think you got to slam Patriots 5.5 here all day, every day. Bills, Dolphins, though. I think one of my picks is Bills -3. I love Dolphins. A part of Dolphins Mafia here. Part of Dolphins fan for the year. Complimentary. But Bills got to bounce back after that tough loss to Steelers. It's going to be angry. I think it's an easy 3.5 here. An easy 3-point cover for the Bills. We got to talk about stats last week, too, on only 4 teams. 4 favorites, I think, only covering and maybe 6 overs total for week 1. Yeah, got to remember that for next year. You got to take the under for NFL. Steelers Raiders is going to be huge. So I think that's probably a comfortable Steelers win. I think the 6.5 is nice. I like the moxie the Raiders played with on Monday Night Football. That Steelers defense, though, is good. Just too good. In Pittsburgh. That's probably a game I stay away from. Saints Panthers. I thought this was really interesting. We bought in at -3. I think it's gone up to Saints -3.5 as more people hop on the Saints bandwagon. Of course, game in Carolina. Not sure if that's a big factor, especially with the Saints really taking it to the Packers in Jacksonville. Quote unquote home game for the Saints. I mean, Sam Darnold looked pretty decent. Going to be the Christian McCaffrey show. Great to see him healthy. Jags Broncos, that's a throwaway game of the week. Meh. Be nice to see the Jaguars make some moves. I think game of the week for me. Game of the week for me, especially after an amazing Cardinals performance last week against the Titans. I think it's Vikings at Cardinals. Because this could be where the season totally gets away from the Vikings already. Starting out the gate 0-2. And this could be proving that the Cardinals are a force to be reckoned with in the NFC West. This is a game I'm excited for, 4 o'clock hour. Of course, Bucks Falcons, hopefully a bloodbath. Hopefully Bucks going 2-0. I think Chargers Cowboys has a potential to be pretty electric. No pun intended with the Chargers there. Seahawks Titans. Man, the late slate is great here. The Cardinals Vikings, of course the Cowboys, Chargers, Bucks Falcons. Seahawks Titans. Do the Titans bounce back? That's one of the heaviest totals of the week at 54. Of course, closing out night primetime games, Chiefs Ravens and Lions Packers. Great slate of games to bet on. With that being said, let's talk about last week. And I didn't do a Vegas Gifts segment this week because it did not go well. We've got to give ourselves a thumbs down here. Not good. All these gifts, I don't think these gifts didn't work out. The over 50 didn't hit amazingly because the Packers decided they couldn't play offense. Washington +1 I thought was surefire. West Coast team traveling over to the East Coast. Washington football team's defense massively improving, or hopefully improving from a great performance last year for the most part. Chargers get the win. And of course, the bonehead. Oh my gosh, I'm still embarrassed about it. Thinking, why am I going to start with the betting on Atlanta train again? I'm pretty sure I could dig up tweets of me talking about never betting on Atlanta again. I think I got to sit out on any Eagles games as well because they look great, but did they look great because it was Atlanta? I don't know. All the Vegas gifts,
you blew
not
it!
working out at all. So no Vegas gifts segment this week. But let's talk about the keep away games. That was don't even think about it. These were all kind of blowouts here, right? But maybe we were overthinking this. Tennessee -3. Cardinals ended up blowing them out of the water. Kind of glad I stayed away from that one. The one I wish I took action on, though, was Seattle at the Colts. It kind of went like we thought. I think I bought too much into the West Coast traveling to the East Coast business and shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. I think I don't have the stats, but West Coast traveling East Coast for week 1 actually seemed to have gone pretty well for most of the visiting teams, with a lot of the underdogs at least covering the spread or winning the spread as the underdog. That Buffalo one, I'm glad I stayed away from there. It was just kind of a struggle. Defensive battle. Bills couldn't get it going on offense. Steelers did enough just to win. It's classic NFL Week 1 matchup against what seems to be serious Super Bowl contenders. We will wait and see as we get along. All right, so gosh, we got a thumbs down. This is really bad. Really bad. 10 official picks, including the 4-pick $10 parlay. And of course, that not working out very well for us. We talked about the Washington pick, the Jacksonville. I bought into the Jaguars too early. I should have known better. Should have stayed away from the rookie quarterbacks. Look at that. Got the Jets up there. It's like I was in love with all these rookie quarterbacks. I don't know what happened. Washington pick, of course, down the tube immediately. Jacksonville, another 1 p.m. game. We did hit the Miami -3, and I think one of our picks in the 5 was a straight up pick of Miami. I like Miami to win that game no matter what, so I was happy to take them +3, no big deal. And of course, Packers, I think -4.5, ended up taking that, and the Saints just putting a beat down on those Packers in Jacksonville. Didn't hit any of the overs. These were games that were on the underside. Washington football team and the Jets Panthers. I don't know what I was thinking that rookie quarterbacks and a little bit of revenge would have been the name of the game. Of course, we talked about Atlanta. Baltimore, surprising loss, really throwing that game away. Again, thought the Giants were going to be a little bit better, especially with Teddy Bridgewater. First game into a system. Better quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is a professional. Professional with G. Should have known a little bit better. I'm going to step back from the Broncos as well. And then, of course, my hopeful hit the Jets Panthers. Barely hitting the Jets at Panthers. Jets +5.5 when we bought in. So pretty amazing that was the one out of all our picks that hit. So week number 2, official picks are in. So what's that mean? We've got a couple over and unders. We're going to take the under on a few of these. We've got over on Titans Browns. I'm loving Tyrod Taylor. I actually loved how the Texans look. Are we overlooking the Texans? I think we'll have that conversation on an upcoming episode of the Sports Moose and Friends. More to come on that, our live show. Are we really not taking the Texans seriously? Just assuming because they didn't have Deshaun Watson that their season was done. I like the way they look. I know it was Jacksonville, but true test here for the Browns. Over 48. I think there's going to be a lot of points here. Browns definitely showing that they can score points against Kansas City. The defense looking good. I like the over 48 here. 48 was the average number of points scored in week 1. It was like 48.3 or something like that. So I'm liking over 48. Definitely going under 45 for Bengals Bears. Who knows? This could turn to be a crazy shootout with Joe Burrow lighting up the Bears defense that seems to have regressed. Who knows? Under 45 though, that's a call. And going back to the Texans Browns, I love the Texans plus 12.5. I think you got to take them here. You got to take the Texans 12.5. That's what we locked in at. I think it's popped up to 13 maybe now. Houston plus 12.5. Another 1 p.m. game. New England, we talked about this. Going to take a minus 5.5 against the Jets just because of Bill Belichick's ability to break down and be a nightmare for rookie quarterbacks. Straight up Rams. I think the Rams have the Colts. Don't want to buy into the West Coast Rams to the East Coast anymore. And I liked what I saw on Sunday Night Football against the Bears. Enough for, we'll go to straight up win here. They're slightly favored. I think the spread's around 3.5 right now. And kind of maybe the underdog pick of the week here. Detroit plus 11. Detroit plus 11. I mean, obviously, you expect the big bounce back from the Packers, but I just love the pluckiness that they demonstrated in that almost comeback victory. They came back to cover. Came back to cover against the 49ers. And we were definitely sweating it out. I was definitely cheering to see absolute chaos in Vegas in the sports books if the Lions came back to straight up beat the 49ers. That would have been amazing. All right, $10 parlay of the week. Hear me out. I'm liking this one this week. Taking a couple, gonna flop trends. Again, remember, I think only 4 favorites covered last week. But I think there's going to be more covering this week. Especially, I'm picking a couple away teams, though. Picking away teams on 3 of these. Maybe I need to refigure this out. No, we're committed. We're committed to the $10 parlay. Taking Buffalo minus 3, even though they're traveling to Miami. Rain expected in South Florida, at least here at the time of recording. Buffalo minus 3 bounce back from last week. Tough loss against the Steelers. A couple chinks in the armor shown against Mac Jones last week for the Dolphins. Like them overall. I think they can be that 6-7 seed bubble team in the AFC. I just don't know if they're quite ready to take the Bills on in the division. Bills minus 3. Kind of a really easy pick on this one. Arizona minus 3.5 against the Vikings. Again, I feel only been 1 week. Don't know if we can fully trust the Cardinals defense. Picked them up in fantasy, so if we trust them fantasy-wise, at least for this week. Can they make it a tough time for Kirk Cousins? If they can, they win this game. If they can repeat the amazing performance they had against the Titans on defense and on offense, for that matter, they're going to win that game. Cardinals minus 3.5. Saints minus 3.5, and I get surprised that the numbers is this low against the Panthers. Panthers offense is always going to look a lot better, especially when McCaffrey's back into the mix. But Jameis showed that he could sling the ball. It's amazing what a little LASIK can do. Amazing what a little LASIK can do for Jameis. This is we are officially a pro Jameis account and influencer, by the way. Until they play the Bucs, 100% behind Jameis. And I expect the Saints to cover -3.5. I think that's a touchdown victory at least for the Saints. And then kind of the underdog pick here. I like Dallas traveling to the Chargers. Dallas +3.5. I think they played an excellent game against the Buccaneers. A lot of people would say they should have won that game. Of course, Bucks coming out slow a little bit. Dak is the real deal. He's back. I like them against the Chargers. Big question is, how is that defense for Dallas gonna handle what looks to be an up and coming offensive unit? You know, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen still making noise for the Chargers. Can the Dallas defense control the offense for the Chargers? That's going to be the big question. Still liking Dallas +3.5. Payout, of course, 123.03 for at the time of filming. We locked it in at that price too. So good luck to us. Let's see if we can finally hit on the $10 parlay. We'll see.
Another one.
Got another one?
Another one.
Got another item of business. The 5, which this was, I believe, last week's the 5, and went 3 for 3 and 2. 3 and 2 for last week. We missed on Buffalo, hit Miami straight up, missed on Washington, and then of course hitting kind of easier choices. The wheel, we do what the wheel gives us. The wheel gave us some easy ones with basically just the money lines on San Francisco and the Rams. Those were easy, of course. We hit those two, hitting the money line, which was kind of a ballsy call against Dolphins against the Patriots, and losing out on the spread picks with Buffalo and Washington being our choices. So I forgot to update this week's the 5. I think I have that on an Excel. So I'll tell you, we don't have the graphics, but the 5 this week, week 2, got Jets, Patriots, football team Giants, which is going to be going on later today, Ravens, Chiefs, Steelers, Raiders, and Seahawks, Titans. We got spreads for Jets, Patriots, Steelers, Raiders, and Seahawks, Titans. I think I'm taking the favorites on all those. So Patriots 5.5. I guess I have them on 3 different bets. Seahawks -6.5, and Titans. Oh, actually, no, I took the Raiders. I think I took the Raiders +6.5 here. Yep, I took the Raiders, and then Seahawks -6. It's the Titans. Have football team straight up to win, and I got Chiefs straight up to beat the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. So that's a 5. And then closing it out with the big tease, Moose's Monster teaser. Should have had it last week. It's a pretty good payout here. I think I got $15 paying 105. So I think it was -1050 or -900, and we put 15. So I think we're getting a payout of 105. We hit it. So bought in with the Cardinals. Cardinals +3.5. Saints +3.5. Cowboys go all the way to +10.5 against the Chargers. Broncos get plus from -6 to +1. So Broncos to win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, basically. Houston, the Texans. This is always the one. Always hate these giant spread games, but we're throwing one in there. We're throwing one in there. Texans +20. Texans +20. They can. I think they can do it. Texans +20. I believe in you. San Francisco goes to +4, and the Rams go to +3.5. So a couple 3.5 points there. I think I ended up buying 6.5 points or 7 points. Mostly because we had 3 games that ended up with +3.5. So I like that. We get the victory even if they win by a field goal. So in case of a couple close calls, kind of have that security blanket built in. So that is it for NFL Week 2 on this episode of $10 Sports Risky Business. Of course, we'll be back at it next week, releasing videos on Thursday. I think this one might creep into Friday with some of the editing, but most Thursdays you're going to get a risky business video courtesy of $10 Sports. Thunderdome podcast is right around the corner. Your weekly hockey show here at the Sports Moose. Bolts starting up in less than a month. Can you believe that? Just announced all the good stuff with the transition over to ESPN and TNT, all those broadcast teams. Lightning, I think, featured 13 times on national broadcast between TNT and ESPN. So we're excited for that. More to come in the upcoming weeks as we relaunch Thunderdome podcast, now with 2 Stanley Cup championship, the double defending Stanley Cup champion edition. That's it for your host, Sports Moves. We'll see you next week here on $10 Sports, Risky Business. Take care.